there
It's not the
was
worst. Like
there was some parts
it
that
was okay.
there was some parts they could have did it. They could have left out, and I think it would have had a much bigger reaction. You know what I mean? Because at the time, we're talking about people were still using like a lot of practical effects and stuff like that, like that dinosaur movie where they had people in actual dinosaur costumes, and then they had their heads like being controlled by animatronics and all that stuff. This is back in the heyday, um so this is before everything kind of moved over to Jurassic Park, even, right, where everything was like propped and animatronics, and everything was just so, from a standpoint of like watching the movie, it was so pure. You know what I mean? And in that sense, there was some CGI. Don't get me wrong, in those movies, but not as heavily done as that. And then it was one scene in particular that made that kind of made the CGI in the whole movie bad, and that was the hell spawn scenes. Whenever you went to hell and you get to see all the other hell spawn, and you see Malbolgia and that stuff, that was just like, okay, because you have to they used the CGI so heavily that it was like literally the entire scene was just all CGI, and because it wasn't that good back then, where they could put millions of dollars into it, and then also too, the movie had a lower budget than most other superhero movies. It was just like, they did the best that they could, but some stuff I would have loved them to leave out of that. But still, Spawn is one of my favorite characters. You're very happy we didn't get a Blade reboot. I'm I'm kind of on the fence with that one. Um, I think I think Wesley Snipes was the best. I think he was the best first Marvel superhero to grace the screen. Um, and I think that it would have been nice to kind of see a remembrance of that, of like, because I think Mahershala Ali was supposed to play the new Blade, or the reboot, Blade, and I would have liked to see some tie-in to the old Blade, maybe even because Blade always had he always had Whistler, he always had his guy, in the chair kind of thing, right? And it would have been nice to see if like Mahershala was playing Blade, to see Wesley Snipes kind of hand that down, and Wesley Snipes be Whistler, and kind of make that make that kind of connection there. But truth be told, um, the first big screen Marvel character was Blade. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, and Blade 1 and 2 were such good movies that they will forever be in the history books of just like being good ass vampire movies. You know what I mean? You just can't, and to try to redo those, or to try to like reboot those, yes, would be very, very hard. But I think with some of the talented writers they have out today, and the good actors and stuff like they have out today, I think it could be done in a way that doesn't do the old movies a disservice. You know what I mean? But it would be nice to have Blade back. I mean, just saying. You said, to be honest, a new Marvel adaptation would have been bad. Maybe, maybe yes, maybe no. I think, I think, I think the way that they wrote the Deadpool 3, or Deadpool and Wolverine, would have been a perfect way to kind of bring that in, to like reel that in. I mean, because don't get me wrong, you know, Deadpool 3 is a Marvel project, up and down. It wasn't a Fox project anymore. It was a straight up Marvel project. And that turned out to be amazing. you know, like So, and I think that Marvel has done some really really good stuff. They had a 10-year run of Marvel movies that led up to the culmination of Endgame and Infinity War. Infinity War being the better of the movies, I think. So I think that they they could have whipped out something, but just to whip out something really quick, just to kind of boost their portfolio or whatever, I think that no, I do think that the Blade project needed to bake in the oven a little longer. But if you wait too long, then people lose interest. You don't have a Blade movie anymore because nobody's going to be looking for it. And I get the idea of the superhero fatigue thing, but then when in that same vein, you talk about shows like The Boys or Gen V or Brightburn at that movie, and that kind of brings that back into the fold a little bit. And I think if they use a little bit of that, um, how you say, not 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 necessarily aggression, but use some of that. Um, I don't really know how to say it. Use some of that visceral, some of that visceral that those movies had or those shows had. I think they could have did it. I think they could have did it right. At least the Starfleet Academy writers are not Marvel writers. More mature movies. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some more of that mature movie, and I think Blade fits right into that role of being a more mature movie. I mean, because before Blade, there wasn't anything Marvel that was like super mature. You know what I mean? Especially not in movie form, right? There wasn't any movies, from Marvel back then. It was DC that kind of held the reins for a long time with their Batman movies. Um, you guys remember you guys remember Mr. Freeze? You guys remember fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, right? That everybody chill. That thing, so cheesy, so fucking cheesy. But once Marvel stepped in with Blade, it was kind of like upping the ante a little bit, making things more mature, right? Then you get to DC fighting back with things like the Dark Knight series, those movies and stuff like that. So I think I think Blade does have its place. Starfleet Academy is the final death blow for Star Trek. Even worse than Discovery. I haven't seen Discovery. There was a lot surrounding that show that I just really didn't want to. I don't know. I really didn't want to get into. You know, I guess as with any franchise, there's a lot that goes into it, especially the people that are watching it and who think that the franchise isn't doing any character, the right service or whatever. It kind of makes I don't know. It just kind of makes it a little bit icky, um, especially when you talk about things like, that word woke and all that stuff, and so it just, I was like, we'll sit this one out. We'll sit this one out. But I heard good things about Discovery. Some of the later episodes, anyway. Have I seen Have I seen the dragon yet? I have not seen Dragon D's nuts yet. Boss.
What? What do you mean? I don't, how the fuck do you even do that? What the fuck just happened to me? What?
I knew it. I fucking knew it. I
Oh
knew it.
shit, dude! I didn't even think about that. I thought I just got one shot by somebody.
Good job. Good job on that one. You tried to get me in there. You tried to catch me on that one. Good job. I had to read that. I read that like twice, and I was like, Dragon. I started like going through all the shows with the name Dragon. I thought at first it was like a Game of Thrones kind of reference. I was like, no, this is Boz. This is Boz we're talking about here. The dragon these nuts. Fucking idiot. oh 07 Boz, how we doing, man? Hey, shouts out to Boz Hound as well. Definitely go and check him out as well. He's been doing some streaming stuff, getting into it. Stallcraft. Definitely go and check him out, give him that support. Um, that was a good one. That was a good one, dude. I bet if my name was different, you would have been caught. Yes, actually, yes. Because then I'd have been like, Dragon? What? Dragon what? Because in my mind, I'm thinking like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, or um, anything else with the name Dragon in it. Oh, oh, you're mean for that one. You're mean for that one, Falk.
What
Deathclaw growl.
do you say?
You've watched Star Trek since the Kirk era. You grew up with it. Yeah. You have something. You have something middling to report as well. Uh-oh. just, I just know when it comes to boss, it's gonna be some these nuts
Jesus
dragging my
Christ.
nuts across your face.
Is everything
Oh,
dragging
you reinstalled Elite, the new Kestrel, plus 5 more ships this year, and operations entice me. Really?
out? I'm going to die. Think
Mmm.
about it, they just keep coming.
That's really good to report because I've kind of been feeling, I've kind of been feeling the Elite itch a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, not gonna lie at all. I've been kind of feeling that Elite itch, and yeah, kind of feeling like getting back into it. I've seen that new ship, the Kestrel. I've seen people do some AX hunting and some PvP and that stuff. And I've been like, all right. I might have to bust out the old grandpa ships at this point, the vet ships at this point, you know. But yeah, man, operations will be mission chains, and flight and ground stuff. Mega ship interiors, that could be cool. Mega ship interiors. Um, we did get a little bit of interiors with the fleet carriers, right? If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, we did get a little bit of like ship interior stuff where you can like, dock your ship. You can get on the elevator, go up. You can check out the different bays, and you can sit on the captain's bay and kind of watch you jump through space and stuff like that. So yeah, Kestrel is out now. Ops in April, and 5 more ships throughout the year. Five plus 5 more ships. Those are rookie numbers. Needs more JPG sales for ships. The first op will be a space battle. Then we dock and fight through a mega ship. I've been oh you're getting all the feels in all the right places. I've been waiting, dudes. You guys have no idea. Been waiting for something like that. Um, ever since I started seeing the destroyed stations that, like, the Thargoids come through, they destroy the station, and you have to dock in there and give them supplies and stuff like that, and everything is on fire. I've been waiting for stuff like that. Like, oh, that brings me so much joy. Brings me so much joy. To be fair, SC Star Citizen does have 2 to 3 ships per quarter, so 8 to 12 per year. Not that many more. This brings free space vibes. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of getting the feels. I'm getting the feels a little bit. Especially, you guys know me. I love flying in VR. Um, Elite Dangerous happens to be. I have to say this now. Elite Dangerous happens to be the most stable spaceflight game that you can play in VR. Okay, and I say that because, of course, I know you guys are no stranger to it, but Star Citizen has VR support now, which I'll be the first one to say